All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is ladies from MCNN coming to you tonight just to have a roundtable discussion. Welcome, and we're glad to have everybody. Go ahead, somebody.
Hey, Face, how are you? Oh, I want to take a moment to show off my background because, this is fancy. You're welcome.
All right. So, Heather, you just took a huge trip across the country. Tell us about where you went. Tell us about what you found when you were there and all about your experiences. We want to know.
Okay, well, so we did take a trip across country. We started out going through Texas. And since we were out west, we decided we were going to go ahead and visit a couple of other states that we hadn't been to. So we went through New Mexico. We got to see Santa Fe and Roswell and all that. And then, of course, we drove through to Colorado because you can't not go through Colorado if you're right there at it, especially since it's a legal state.
Absolutely.
Which actually, where did we go in Colorado?
Yeah.
We stayed in Mesa Verde or Cortez, so we got to go to a couple of the local dispensaries. Which one of my favorite ones that we got to go to is the Doobie Sisters that one of our friends had told us about. So
that's
was pretty fun. Yeah, that was pretty fun. They had it as far as like their selection, it's not like the cheapest, but they had a lot of really cool merch and like the people were really cool. So that ended up being our favorite. I think we went back to that one twice. So
okay, and one of the states you visited, didn't they just make recreational legal? Tell us a little bit about that.
So in New Mexico, they actually just passed recreational, which they already had a medical program in place, which they can't start selling for recreational until January. But we did get to go in the dispensary, but unfortunately we didn't get to buy anything because we didn't have a medical card. But I mean, it was pretty cool and a pretty cool experience getting to see it all.
What do you think about the difference between, going into a dispensary in New Mexico and going into one in Colorado? Did you notice a difference?
There was a difference because they can't sell recreational. So
as far as they looked, is it?
Yeah, the way it looked is different. I don't know if we only went to a couple in New Mexico. I can't even remember what they're called, to be honest. But it was different because they can't have the product on display. Like they have to have it. I don't know if it's a wall, but it was in both of the ones that we went to. They had to have it like put in a back room. So you have to display your medical card and everything before you can go back. Whereas in Colorado, when you go in, as long as you have your ID, they let you in the building and everything is on display. It's like a little cannabis store.
That's
it was
so
definitely
cool.
an experience. Yeah, when we went in, we were just like in awe. And of course, they were like, "What can we get for you today? Like, do you have anything specific in mind that you want?" And we are just like, "All of it. This is great.
Everything."
I remember my first trip to Colorado. Really, like my first experience. Of course, I hadn't really gone until my niece. She was doing treatment in Colorado, and so I get there and I'm like, "How do you find these dispensaries?" And my sister was like, "Weed maps." Like what?
Oh, see, we didn't even have a problem finding them. They're everywhere.
I'm gonna build them for that. Like Weed Maps is you download this app on your phone and you can just basically find your location and it shows the nearest dispensary. So you're gonna have that in your state.
And it even goes even
it's
further.
So incredible. I love Weed Maps.
You can see menus for specific dispensaries on Weed Maps. So it's kind of like
ordered online and went through a dispensary drive-through to pick it up.
Yes, they had that option there because of COVID. A lot of I went to Chicago back in October. So because of COVID, that was the only option they had for their dispensaries was you order it online and you go through and pick it up. So that was pretty cool. They had that option where we went, but of course we took advantage of the opportunity to actually go in. They actually have delivery services there too. Like that's pretty amazing. It's pretty nice.
Oh, when you go in sometimes there's binders this thick with all the different strains they have and information about them and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And usually it's one bud tender per person. So you're able to just, kind of have your own friend that you can just sit there and find what's
Yeah.
perfect for you. It's really cool.
So am I the only one that has never been in a dispensary?
What? Never?
Road trip, MSN road trip,
Never.
MCNN road trip. I have no idea what letters I just said. I'm really
She's in space, legit. Like,
I'm literally
You guys notice that the background is backwards? Like, why didn't I don't have my glasses on, and I clicked on myself and it made my picture bigger, and now it's like
you have to change it off mirror image. There's somewhere
what
in
strain are
this.
you smoking? That's what I want to know. Your background flipped.
Look
like,
at her,
what you
just put her
got?
head
I
down.
remember my first weed.
Y'all, while we were
Hey,
in
Heather, tell me
Colorado,
about some of the different products that you tried. Did you do edibles? Did you do what all did y'all try?
all of it. So one
Oh,
of the
yeah.
first dispensaries that we went into, I think we just happened to make it in. Every dispensary has like a weekly daily special. So we just happened to make it in on Thursday, which was 2-for-1 pre-rolls, and I love some pre-rolls. So of course I like sativa. So when we went in there, like, what are you looking for? And I was like, what kind of pre-rolls do you have? And we went through the whole like strain specific, and I was like, what do you have? This is sativa. And it just so happened that the only sativa that they had in a pre-roll that day in stock was the Redheaded Stranger. And I was like, give me 2.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because we both have
I
it,
too would
so-
take 2 redheaded strangers.
So I got to try that. I got to try some of Willie Nelson's line, his Willie's Reserve, his pre-rolls. I mean, of course, it all smoked wonderful.
Was it the Willie Nelson strain, or was it just his brand? Was it his brand? Or was it the Willie Nelson strain?
It was his brand. It's Willie Nelson Reserve. Is that I wish I would.
Willie Nelson the strain. It's a high THCV one. So
Really?
It's a suppressant, and it kind of gives you energy. It's an upper. Yeah.
Heck yeah! I didn't get to try that. I didn't try any of like the just flour that they had, just because we were kind of rolling on a budget, and the flour itself was a little bit more pricey for us wanting to try like a lot of different strains. But so I didn't get any like bud. I didn't even see that strain, but I wish I would have known that. I would have been looking for it.
I haven't seen it anywhere. I just know about it because I always look for certain cannabinoids like THCV. You don't find it in a lot of them. So it's in Durban Poison, Doug's Varin. I'll think of another later when it doesn't matter.
So, Teresa, do you have a catalog of things that you keep of like what strain is good for what? Because you seem to be very, very educated on strains. I'm just curious, is this all in your brain all the time, or do you have like a book that you've kept up with?
No, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I retain knowledge, like I retain information really, really fast. So like I can quote poetry I learned in 3rd grade. It's really not fun, and it's always like stuff I don't want to remember. But no, when I'm
Wait, did you learn the
like,
Canterbury Tales?
What?
Did you ever learn the Canterbury Tales?
I'm with you. We don't have hands.
Can you read the Canterbury Tales to me, or please? One the Ariel and the Shora Sota, you know that one.
Sorry. Oh my
No,
gosh.
I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't know what you want.
I love you.
Oh my God.
No.
Seriously, like every school in Mississippi had to learn that.
Do it.
Every kid in Mississippi had to learn the Canterbury Tales.
I didn't. I went to a private Christian school. I only learned scripture, so I'm excluded from that one.
Wow, Heather. Like,
Yikes! Also,
Yikes on
also
several bikes.
Fella.
No, I
Not
was
every
no,
school
I
in
was a weird
Mississippi.
kid. Like, now that I think about it, I was a really weird kid. Like I did really like I didn't realize how weird I was until I was an adult, and then I realized like other kids don't do that. Like I used to put together puzzles, like really big puzzles. And then when I would get done with them, I would tear them apart, and then I'd turn them backwards, and then I'd do it on the cardboard side. And I'm not talking like little ones. I'm talking like 500,000 piece puzzles I would put together on the cardboard side. Like, why?
That is not normal. You're right.
That is not normal.
God.
Also, though, my child has a pile of puzzle pieces and then some puzzles over here. Can you come by and like help me with that?
Fix that situation, please.
I've been dreading it. So if you could just stop by and clean up her puzzles for me, that'd be great, because I don't enjoy them.
I don't know why. What kind of kid comes home? Is like, I can't wait to get home and put together a puzzle backwards. Like
You.
I would just like, and then I would like sit there and I liked listening to classical music. I don't know why. Like it just Beethoven though. I wasn't a big Mozart fan. Like I don't know why I did that.
How did you differentiate when you were a child? You're like, wait, hold up, no, this is Mozart.
Like, you know, that's
Like I didn't know what
Mozart.
music was. Like my
Do what
parents were
you did
Mexican.
there,
Like,
Mom. I don't even think I can name another famous composer other than those two.
Tchaikovsky.
Yeah, Tchaikovsky's great. One of my favorites.
Oh,
Handel.
yeah.
Handel. I don't know. Amadeus.
She's on a roll. You really do retain knowledge. Look at you. Can you write that down for some of us that don't know? Okay.
Right, because then there's those of us that can't remember like what we did 10 minutes ago.
Mozart, Beethoven,
That would be me.
Handel, Tchaikovsky. Why do I know that? Why do I know that? Like, I can go the rest of my life and never access that information ever again and find it. Why is it there?
Bethany just flew through space.
Who put that there? You know, you never know what I'm gonna try out. It's so random. So, what other states have you been to, Bethany, besides Oregon and Colorado? Have you been to other ones? Legal states?
I lived in Washington. I worked in Oregon. So both states had medical programs when I got there. Both states were recreational there. I've been to Colorado.
And she's
I
gone.
used it, but like if they had a legal program,
You're cutting out, Beth.
not to
Yeah.
my
If who had a legal
those
program?
are my three big that I remember having a program when
You know,
I was
I
there.
flew out to Seattle. It was like before we had our program here, I decided, you know, because I couldn't sit still, so I had to do something. And so I decided, you know, let's travel to states that have, you know, recreational programs so I can kind of get ideas and see what they do and kind of see what their regulations. No, really, I did. I went. And so like one thing that I hated about Washington that was different than Oregon was the pre-packaging, how you couldn't smell it. Like you had to buy it in an already, you know, jar or a baggie, or, you know, it had to be closed. And so it's like I like to go in there and I would have this routine where I'd buy a strain that I knew and then a new one that I wanted to try. And then of course, indica, sativa, and a hybrid. And so when I was in Washington, I actually left my product in the hotel because I was like, I'm going to Oregon. And I was not displeased. Like they really did have good product in Oregon. It was a lot cheaper, but the way their program set out is so confusing. So I could see why, you know, I wouldn't want to grow there. It's beautiful though, that like they can grow anything. I went down to the market.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
They sell these big bundles of flowers, like just huge, like roses and lilies and all of it just like that. And they're like $15, like a big bushel of flowers. I'm like, holy crap, guys have no excuse there. Like I should be getting flowers daily.
So who had a program first, Washington or Oregon, a medical program? Whose was first?
I think Oregon was first. Oregon's older. Yeah, Oregon.
Gotcha.
hmm
And who had the first recreational program?
In the U.S., I think.
No, out of Oregon and Washington.
I think Oregon as well. Because Oregon, when they did their medical program, the way they did it is people would have to like have like a community type grow.
Ooh.
And so you could like trade and amongst each other, something along those lines. And then they introduced the other medical program, which was a medical market. And so they have the limits, THC limits on their products in the recreational market, and they don't have it in the medical market. So if you have a card, you can get higher potencies.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's pretty cool.
It was that way in Colorado too. If you have a card, you can. I don't know about higher potency, but I know you can.
But you can
purchase
buy
more.
RSO in the recreational market, so you can buy high potency in recreational.
You can buy high
Wow.
potency. I just know they limited like how much you purchased at a time per dispensary.
Purchase limits, and they do that like to prevent diversion, so that people don't come in and stock up product and then go sell in another state.
Yeah.
Same reason why they don't let them be like in Colorado. They don't allow the dispensaries to be like so many miles from a border. That's why you have to
Correct.
go so far into
I
the
didn't
state.
know that, but that makes sense because I noticed when we got closer to the border, there was less and less. Like there was none.
My
Yeah.
son actually lives in Colorado in a border county, and there are no dispensaries in his county where he lives. He has to drive, I think it's like 45 minutes to get to a dispensary, but yeah, there's none on the outlying edge of Colorado.
No, I think Trinidad, if you're coming from, my direction from Oklahoma, would be the closest place. You Trinidad, and you go into Pueblo and start going further into like Colorado Springs or Denver. I mean, I think Denver's first. I don't remember. I haven't been in so long.
So what
But
was
yeah,
what was your favorite product, Heather, that you tried? I know you said pre-rolls, but did you try edibles?
Yeah, I did. I wish I would have been more prepared and like remember like the name brand and where I got different things. But my favorite thing that I got was a chocolate bar. And it was a sativa chocolate bar, which I'm all about sativa because if I smoke or do anything with like indica, I'm gonna be knocked out. Like I have no tolerance for it. It makes me so sleepy. I don't know if that's legitimate or if that's just in my head, but I feel like it happens every time.
I mean, if you scientifically want to know why, I can
I
explain.
do. Tell me. Give me your knowledge.
Yes.
No. For me, and what I've noticed in a lot of indicas is that two things it could be. Indicas are really dominant in myrcene, and myrcene tends to be a sedative. Like it's relaxing. Not in me because I have ADHD, I think. And
So it does the opposite for you.
Yeah, it elevates my heart rate. But even when I ingest it, like I have a weird reaction to it because it can affect the liver, like you don't metabolize it as easily. Another reason why is whenever you're growing your plants, you have your indicas and your sativas next to each other. Your indicas are going to flower earlier.
Mm-hmm.
When they start producing flower, when you change the light cycle. And so because they flower sooner, whenever you harvest them all at the same time, then the trichomes would have been more developed in the indica, which the trichomes are the little crystals that you see on the plant. See, they start as a clear color, then they go to a milky color, and then kind of like a yellowy, and then you can get the amber. So the more amber your trichomes are, then the sleepier your weed's going to be. So it's because of the conversion that takes place whenever it starts deteriorating. Basically, the delta 9 THC, which is the active component, whenever you heat it up even further, it converts to CBN, and CBN is what makes you sleepy. So
I love listening to you. I could seriously listen to you talk all day. Fangirl. I know Bethany says it all the time, but yeah, a totally fangirl.
Say it, Teresa.
When me and Beth first met Teresa, we went back to our hotel room and we were like, she's so smart. Like we had a total girl crush.
Teresa, say beta-carotene, whatever that word is. Say that.
Hey, I'm sitting with my background over here. Like, y'all just watch me through the mirror, okay?
My favorite word about the cannabis plant is bulbous. Bulbous. Try to say that 10 times fast.
No, I'm not saying that word. I don't like it. It's like, you know what word I don't like? That's really weird to me. That every time I say it, like, is that right?
What?
I know.
Paste, like toothpaste, tomato paste, like
I
paste.
can't say it without laughing.
My face looks ugly, like paste. Like you can't even look pretty saying it.
Bulbous. Bulbous?
Bulbous.
It's a fun word. It's a weird word, but it's a fun
Sure,
word.
but it makes your mouth do this funny thing. Like, let's say pretty words.
Beta
heard you
caryophylline.
talk-
Say that one.
Beta caryophylline. That is one of my favorite
That's my
terpenes.
favorite.
I'm glad you said it. Is it? Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that and humulene. Yeah, humulene I don't get a lot of.
What is
Sometimes
that?
I have a love-hate relationship with pineanes because sometimes they make me like cough way too much or they make me sneeze way too much. So it's like, and they upsets my stomach when I ingest it. So
That's no fun.
I learned the hard way on a lot of things.
I think we all have. I think probably everyone here right now has.
No, you guys are lucky. It's like some people learn from other people's mistakes, and then some people have to be those other people. And for you guys
That make the
I've been those other
mistakes.
people. Yeah. I've been there, done that shirt.
Yeah. So all your education, Teresa, it basically came from your niece, correct? When your niece was diagnosed, is that when you really
That's where
started
it
learning?
That's where it started. And if we start going into where all it came from, it's way too many influences. Like I know too many people at this point. Like I love to go meet people that are smarter than me and learn from them. And
Definitely.
and I teach them things that they don't know either. Like being able to sit around, like I've been able to sit around with some of the smartest people. Like I am so humbled by that. Like I have friends that are biochemists, and sometimes we'll just call each other when something new came out in science just to talk about it. Like, hey, did you hear about Delta 10?
Just call my biochemist friends. Hang on, let me show you how many I have. It's 0. It's none. It's absolutely none.
No, it's so funny because it's like we're legitimately friends. Like, we know about each other's families and, not all of them, but I'm definitely close to some of them more than others. And of course, even if I'm not talking to them on a one-on-one basis, like I am reading up on things on the internet and, following certain researchers on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a really good source if you guys want to meet people in the cannabis industry. It's going to be really difficult on Facebook because you can't really like do a lot of advertisement. Once your industry starts opening up, they'll start flagging stuff and people will start going to Facebook jail. So that's kind of why I don't do a lot of business on my personal, because I like to keep the two separate. I don't want it to interfere. Like I don't want anything that I say that's not business related to be blocked by whatever I'm doing in a business. So I kind of keep them separate.
Yeah, that's wise. Very understandable.
Yeah. But you guys will get that too in Mississippi. It'll be so weird. You'll be like, they're censoring me. Like I made a little, how they have that safe from, whatever. I put safe from Facebook or cannabis business Facebook bans or something along those lines. It's the only one that page had never been in Facebook jail. Yeah.
So I saw one of the most Mississippi things that I have ever seen in Colorado, and it cracked me up.
The most Mississippi things in Colorado.
Yes. So someone opened up this dispensary in an old Pizza Hut building. And I mean, all Pizza Hut buildings like look the same. Well, they just painted everything that was red on the building green, and it was called the Bud Hut. And I don't know why it just tickled me because I was like, I can see that happening in Mississippi. Like I also saw one that somebody took an old gas station and just turned it into a dispensary. Like the pumps were still there.
It's the grass station.
It's the grass station. You know what? That might have even been what it was called. They were closed when we drove by. So I was like, what is that? A dispensary? Yes, it is. But I can see that happening here and I'm ready for it, honestly. Like give me a good little laugh.
I can't not wait to see what you guys come up with. Like what you guys do. No, really.
the Bud Hut. I wonder how they got away with that, like, because it clearly is a Pizza Hut building.
Definitely. Bud Hut. So
Well-
Bethany, you talk a little bit. You've been kind of quiet.
Oh, it's because my service keeps going in and out, y'all. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
You'll probably notice I keep going, disappearing and then coming back in. But yeah, man, Heather, Grant, I'm so excited you got to see all these states. A legal state is just a whole different playground. I mean, it just becomes a whole different world when you can get drinks and I mean, you can get, there's so many wonderful things.
Yes, I saw all of
just
the
can't
drinks. I never got around to trying them, but every dispensary I would go in, I was like, I'm gonna get a drink this time. I'm gonna get a drink this time. And then I'd find something else that I'd want. Like, but we tried a few different kinds of edibles. So we we didn't get hotels during this trip because it made it a lot more affordable. We stayed at campsites. So we pitched a tent every night, somewhere different. But during the day, we would leave our stuff, in the tent because we weren't going to ride around with it. And so we had some gummies in there, and we didn't think about it being in a hot sun, like in the desert. So they melted all into one giant gummy, and Chevy was like, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
And he did.
You can eat
Ate it.
only one.
No, he ate the whole blob. It was,
Those are
I think,
the
10.
You have Barbie hands?
What now?
You know what that is? Like when you get so high you can't use your hand, you can't separate your fingers, or like Barbie hands. You know, just like that. You can't pick anything up. You ever do that?
He didn't have that problem, luckily. I think his tolerance is a lot higher than mine. Now, had I ate that whole blob, I would, because they were also indica gummies, I would have been in a coma for the next 3 days, I'm sure.
No, men get Lego man hands. They're like this,
That's all you can do. It's just make us see.
I can't wait to be over there. This is gonna be so much fun.
Oh no, I can't wait for this program to hit. Oh, it's gonna be so great. It'll be great to have it, that experience again. My dispensary was my happy place. I loved it. I loved going every day. I stopped by for the last year I lived there every day.
So when
what
it's
I
that,
didn't think about, you guys, I just thought about something and I'm kind of upset about this, and I don't know why we didn't think about this, but maybe we can sneak in because the bill's not complete. But why don't we suggest that people that have out-of-state licenses can obtain one? Did they put that in there? I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
Like if I have an Oklahoma card, I can send a copy of mine and just pay for one in Mississippi.
I
See,
do
that's
know
a
at
good point.
one time reciprocity was brought up, but it's been a while, and I can't remember if it was in the language of 65 or not, to be honest with you. But that is a very good point and something I have not thought about.
That's a really good point, because in New Mexico, that if you're enrolled in any other medical program, they honor it there. Because when we told them we didn't have our medical card, they were like, do you have one from the state you're in? Because we can use that. And we were just like, unfortunately, we don't
It's
have
still
one
the
yet.
1800s in Mississippi, guys. Sorry.
Did you guys know that they changed that because of a lawsuit? Like it was a guy from Texas and a guy from, let's see, Arizona, I believe. I think they got together and they sued because I guess he worked in the other state and couldn't buy his product, and so they sued against discrimination or something like that. I don't remember, so they had to change it. I'm hoping something in Oklahoma like that happens, so out-of-state cards can be accepted. Which you can get a temporary card from out-of-state. Like it lasts. I think they moved it up to 3 months or something like that.
Wow.
We noticed we had to drive through Oklahoma for a good little bit on the way home, and I noticed it's a lot. There's a lot of Oklahoma. I just want you to know, like, there's a lot of fields and cows everywhere. And then it's like cow, dispensary, cow. Here's a town. But
we have
we couldn't go in any of the dispensaries. You have more dispensaries than cows?
Yeah, we're feeding our cows weed because we've got an abundance of it.
That is great because y'all have a
Now
lot
when
of
you drink
cows.
milk, you're like getting your daily cannabinoids. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, we saw like several billboards and advertisements and stuff for dispensaries, and I, for whatever reason, thought that you guys were reg, but I was wrong because you're
They
not.
like to think that, but no, we're just like one of the biggest medical markets in like the U.S. right now.
It's huge. They're literally everywhere.
I did not
Like,
know you guys didn't have
everywhere.
recreational either. For some
I
reason,
thought it was.
in
And
my
then I
mind,
went
I
to,
guess
like,
I thought,
Yeah,
Ooh.
I did a quick Google because I wanted to visit a dispensary there, and I was like, dang it, they're only medical.
man, crazy.
I know, but I mean, it feels like recreational, to be honest with you.
It doesn't.
The Wild Wild West.
Yeah, because even some like when I will go to Nevada, like some of those dispensaries, they really throw me off. Like I was up in Carson City, and you go in there and they have a list of the strains and the products that they have, and you just tell them what you want based on a list, and they go to the back like a pharmacy. It's so weird.
That's how it was in New Mexico. That's like the two that we went in, they couldn't display their product. They didn't have it on display. Like you looked at a menu and that's it. Like
I'm
I thought
totally
that was
against
really weird
that.
too.
You know what? That's something that you guys need to argue too, because you don't want that to happen in your state. What I would push is that you guys have to be able to have a sample to be able to smell it, so you can smell the terpenes, because your body is actually attracted to them. It's an essential oil. That's what the terpenes are. So whenever you smell it, it's almost like your body knows what it needs.
That's incredible,
Ooh,
kind
yeah.
of. Wow.
Yeah. And you have to be able to inspect your product to make sure that it's not contaminated. Like they shouldn't make you buy blindly. It's
Yeah.
not like this. Cannabis isn't like pharmaceuticals. That's what they need to understand is pharmaceuticals have to have a certain level of standard. If you're getting a Tylenol, you know that it's going to be 25 milligrams, because they have to have a certain level of standard where every time you buy that Tylenol, it's going to be 25 milligrams. Cannabis isn't that way. Like you might have Gorilla Glue number 4 in Colorado and have it in Washington, and it'll taste completely different. So if there's not a standard, then you should be able to inspect your product.
Absolutely agree. And I can't believe that hasn't crossed my mind, honestly, because that seems obvious, but I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, no, that's all terpenes are, essential oils. And we believe in aromatherapy to a certain extent. I mean, what's a calming terpene or calming essential oil? Lavender, which is linalool, and linalool is also in cannabis.
Crazy.
So in New Mexico, where we stayed for the night, I think it was Alamogordo. Apparently they have a lot of local lavender. I never saw it, but I saw a little signs for it. And one of the restaurants that we went to, our appetizer had lavender honey, like all over it. And it was so delicious. I was a little piggy and ate the entire thing. And within 45 minutes, I could not hold my eyes open. Like I passed out in the car. Edibles have never done that to me. Like smoking has never done that for me. But like that lavender honey knocked me out. Like we went through White Sands because we're there. Why not experience White Sands? I was asleep. I slept through the whole thing because I couldn't wake up. Like I was in a coma.
A lavender-filled coma.
So he's like, we're at White Sands. Let's go take pictures. And I was like, I can't get up.
The linalool drool. I just made a
Yeah.
joke.
No, I did. When I woke up from that nap, because it was a really long nap, I woke up and I had drool on my mouth. I was like, what? This lavender, man.
It's linalool drool.
It's what, Teresa? I'm sorry.
Linalool drool. The molecule in lavender that's calming is linalool. So it's linalool drool.
Linalool drool.
It's not funny when I have to explain it.
You are dealing with people in Mississippi here, I remind you.
Yes. We're not beyond the Bud Hut or the gas station dispensary.
Hey, you know what? You guys are gonna get so weed smart that you're gonna annoy people like me. You know, I'm just like, well, I just sit there and have like a whole conversation, and I always tell people, "Oh, so you were talking to someone. I didn't want to walk up to you." I was like, "Please walk up to me. Save them. It is for their benefit." Because I will not shut up.
They're asking to be rescued. Please help them.
Help them out. If they have the panic look on their face, and they're just like, "Excuse me, I got." It's probably talking to me. I'm glad we got to talk, ladies. This has been fun.
It
Yeah,
has.
it's so great to see you guys.
Yep. Anything.
I've already gone for like an hour and a half. Yeah. What time is no? We're over an hour now.
Yeah, we
Are
are.
we really?
I
Oh,
think.
wow.
I think that's not right because I started the Zoom before. I think we're right
I was
about
just gonna say we
42
started it-
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I started it.
think we're
when
at
we were
about a half an
talking about
hour.
it. Yeah, something like that. Somewhere.
Anyway, I was just making sure because, like I said, I know that I'm talking too much, and I know that I talk too much, and I
Oh,
feel
no.
like if you guys don't give me a timer, it's gonna go on forever.
And the thing is, we'll
Well, hey,
listen to
save some of
you.
it for next week. Yeah, I'll go on listening. I'll probably call you after this, actually.
Yeah, I'll call you in a minute. Let's do Zoom so we can Zoom later after the Zoom.
Teresa, you can just Zoom me to sleep, just cannabis knowledge
Yeah.
while I sleep. You can
Cannabis
just.
stories from Teresa. It's like bedtime
Yes.
stories.
Yes.
Like
I
you
love
let your baby
it.
listen to
Little
classical
story
music
time.
while they're in the womb. It's just like a little tape of Teresa talking about like the endocannabinoids and things like that.
Y'all are ridiculous. Like y'all are ridiculous.
There's a market for it, Teresa.
There is a market for it. I think we should go for it.
Y'all know we
Hey,
definitely
little
gotta work on my
baby.
face, y'all. Like, I was thinking about this as I'm not wearing my glasses, so I really don't know the whole, you know, I don't really know what we're looking at right now entirely. So I feel like this needs to, I need to get with my sister. My sister is really good at makeup. And then my next show, like I'm gonna show out. Like you just wait. Because this isn't acceptable.
I might even put on some makeup next time. I don't know. We'll see. We'll
I don't
probably be 6
own
months into
makeup.
YouTube before I go on a show with makeup on. I just like to keep people guessing, really. You know,
You want a little variety.
will she look like a train wreck today? You know. But I also like to keep the consistency of the train wreck so they feel comfortable because it's the same.
You don't want to go in full
Right.
face because when you come in,
We don't want to intimidate anybody. We don't want to intimidate anybody. We want everyone to feel welcome.
You know, for the most part, ladies, I'm not looking at it all day long. But when there's a camera in front of me, then I have to look at it later. So otherwise, if there's not a camera, then that needs to be my goal. If there's a camera, I need to do something about it.
I need to look like a person. This is unacceptable. Well, you can always just wave your hands over your face and make it.
I'm pretty sure there's like filters that you can use on here too, somewhere, somehow.
There are.
Who knows? You can even be a teddy bear. Like, screw society's impossible beauty standards. Be what you want to be, Teresa. If you want to be a teddy bear, be a teddy bear. Beth is in outer space.
She's been there the whole time. She floated throughout it for a little while.
I'm jealous because I'm not in outer space. I've been unpacking. I'm in a messy house right now.
Oh my goodness.
I'm definitely out there. It's been an evening.
Oh my gosh.
Can we make this a regular thing that like every episode we have like the most outlandish background and like see whose is the best in each episode? It can just be a surprise.
Each other's background. Oh no, guys, I'm gonna go big. Oh, I'm gonna be ridiculous. Y'all just wait.
Just turn off that mirror image first so we don't have to watch you in the mirror, Teresa.
don't know. Maybe mine's backwards because hers looks fine to me. Like
It does.
I don't think
It's
I don't
not
think it's mirrored
backwards.
on our end.
Yeah, it says Cannabis Mississippi up top, and then something women
News Network.
network. There we
I don't
go.
believe that's cannabis.
That's me holding the flag back. I covered
Mississippi.
my face because I wanted to be the face. Like I just it's Mississippi, so it's like I can't put my face on that. Not yet, not yet. Like just random body with girl holding flag. My shoes are colorful.
Could be you, could be any lady. It screams power.
I want women to put themselves in that image. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
embody
weren't you
yourself.
wearing camo pants that day too?
We could make a
Yeah,
cardboard
see?
cutout of you,
Badass.
and we could all just walk up and stick our face in your little.
You're gonna have to squat. 'Cause I'm
Yes.
just FYI. I don't think people realize how short I am until they see me in person. They're like, I thought you would be bigger. And I was like, that's just my personality.
Oh,
Oh, I love the
I
miniature
think
fun
all
size
four of
though.
us though are like, yeah, I think all four of us are like party size. Like the little
Oh, that's my favorite size. I've been here a long time.
If they're fun size,
All
you can
around the
have
fence.
more of them, right? That's.
Stack us up.
ow, can they though? I almost agreed to that and I got to thinking about it and I was like, oh no, they can't.
Oh my gosh. Well, does anybody else have anything they want to add or say before we cut this off from people having to watch us laugh for
No,
30
it was great.
minutes?
No, I think it's a wrap, ladies.
Yeah, that's it for me. That is a wrap. I love a turkey wrap or something, but okay.
Oh my god. Yes.
I'm so hungry. You know what? I have leftover
That'll be
tacos
fun.
from Taco
I
Tuesday.
mean-
Yeah. No. I
Yeah,
told you there's like Teresa Tuesday,
Oh,
Taco Tuesday. Like everything happens on Tuesday. Turn
yeah.
down for what? Turned up Tuesday.
Turned up Tuesday.
Turned up Tuesday.
Terpene
Turn
Tuesday.
down for what?
It's Terpene
Terpene
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Wow.
THC Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yep. Be jealous. But you know what?
Tyrannosaurus Rex Tuesday.
Bethany is
I have
definitely
7-year-olds.
in space. I love you, honey. I love you.
All right, ladies.
I
We're
love
just
you guys
jealous
too.
that we're not in space
Thank you
with
for an
yet.
awesome show. I'll see you guys next week.
Yes, we'll be back next week for more of this. Everyone, please join us.
Please.
All right.
I'll see you guys next week. Love.
All right. Bye. Bye,
Bye,
y'all.
girls.